fantastic work. Um, so uh, plenty of certifications and just assistance in IIBA Global and a lot of work that you put into your career. So that's fantastic. Um, so yeah, if you would, please go ahead, take it away for us.
Um, Let me share my screen now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, is it sharing now?
No,
Not yet. One
not yet.
second then. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll share my entire screen. That's easier if I want to go to internet for something.
Got
Thank
it.
you, Steve. Thank you, Travis, for inviting me here today.
Mm.
Always pleasure to meet new business analysts around the world, and some of could be my old acquaintances as well. My name is Ellen Mishra. I work as the principal trainer and business analyst at Adaptive US. And my aim is to give you some useful information about IIBA certifications in general, which some of you may know, and something pertaining to the new changes that is coming to the ECBA program. Because ECBA is changing dramatically from July 2025. And if any one of you are planning to give ECBA certification, this could be very helpful. In fact, just about few hours back, I received a pretty detailed note on my questions to IIBA that I haven't been able to go through properly, but I'll still share the content with you so that we all can take a look at how IIBA is thinking about the new ECBA program scheme. So let me go ahead. And I always say people who learn, they grow, they become leaders. So it's always my wish to join as many webinars as possible because that gives me an opportunity to learn something new. And in fact, I take my certifications as a learning journey, more towards that. And personally, I kind of keep it as a personal goal to try one certification a year. That has been my motto over last 20, 25 years. And that's why I have completed about 20 plus certifications. And this year I haven't done one, but last year I did one on AI. And prior to that, I've done all 7 IIBA certifications. And usually whenever IIBA comes up with a new program, I try to do it as soon as possible. That's also good for me as a trainer because it gives you opportunities to train others on the topic as well. So this is what we are going to do in this webinar to basically tell you how IIBA certifications can play an important role. And I'm not talking from experience of 1, 2, or 5 business analysts. I have had the great opportunity and privilege to interact with more than 10,000 plus business analysts in the world, of whom about 2,000 plus are now IIBA certified. I wish the number was higher, and I have been requesting IIBA to do something about it as well. I think there has been some kind of a fear set in people's minds saying CBAP is extremely hard. It requires you kind of enormous effort, which is not necessarily our intent. The intent is everybody to learn, apply these tools and techniques. So there are some suggestions which I have put up to IIBA, which will reduce the fear in people's mind for going towards these exams, but it is yet to be implemented. But over time, IIBA has done some things like it has provided with something called an exam bundle, which allows us to sell these courses at a little cheaper price. That means our students get a discount on IIBA exam fees if they come with us compared to they going directly to IIBA. A few more things probably will come in the future. Then obviously, as I said, we will spend a little time on upcoming changes to ECBA examination as well, and what kind of support you can receive from from IIBA, from Adaptive US. And of course, you heard about Sacramento chapter, you have a study group, so you can join that as well when you are preparing for your certification exam. And I'll be happy to take up any question on the topic. Been involved with IIBA now for about 14 years. Um, so quite close to what is happening inside. And some of my colleagues are on the board of IIBA as well, like Victoria Cupet, Bindu, And I used to work with Laura Patton as well, who was the chairperson for Writing Baba. And in case I still get some doubts, I can reach back to these people as well, even today. And again, there's an amazing benefit that I will announce at the end. So if some of you would like to take benefit of the offer, please go ahead and take it. This I think I have spoken about, so I just want to skip it. So here is one tiny pop-up quiz for you. So you go to a supermarket or a marketplace and you're trying to buy a smartphone. And there are two phones available to you with very similar features. One is a branded one with $1,000 tag, and the other one is unbranded one, $800 tag. Which one would you pick up? Let me see the answers. You can chat it. Branded, okay. Branded, okay. Anybody for unbranded, even if it is slightly cheaper? Okay, Pandu says unbranded. Okay, very good. No worry. It's your choice. No, there is nothing wrong. Okay, Travis says unbranded. Okay.
If there was more of a difference in price, then maybe I'd consider unbranded,
Okay.
depending
Yeah.
on kind of phone and what the company is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
as long as I
So
have time
I
for
get a
research.
I get a mixed reply. But usually, if you look at consumer behavior, um, most people will go for a branded phone because it provides an assurance of quality that this product is of better quality, better support. Usually branded products will come with better support. So the next question to me is, are you a product yourself? Most of us don't think like that, but are we products ourselves? Bob, what do you think? Are you a product?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. We
You
all
develop your
are products, no?
reputation in your company and
Yeah,
outside your company, and sometimes
true.
on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So we are products ourselves, and that's why we call it a job market. So we are products in the job market. Okay. So anytime who is buying us? A corporation, somebody else. So they are looking at you as a branded product or unbranded product. So if you get certified, you basically become a branded product. Okay. And this has been my aim because, see, there are umpteen number of business analysts in the world. I think if you search LinkedIn, there are probably 6 million business analysts in the world who are competing in the marketplace. Not everybody is competing for everything, but in general, you are competing. And I am in the training market space. Obviously, there are plenty of good trainers available. But this is what I decided to do some time back. I said, okay, how can I make a difference to my branding? And that is what consciously took me to the world of IIBA certifications, and I did one after another, one after another, and that's how I completed all 7. And this record nobody can break now because only if IIBA comes up with an 8th certification, then there is a possibility that somebody can break my record. But till that comes, I am still the undisputed person in this particular space. So keep that in mind. Second thing, as I said, when you go through a certification process, you are not only getting a certificate, you are upskilling yourself. Have no doubt about it. Even if you have worked for 20 years, 25 years, I have personally worked for 27 years now as a business analyst. Even then, when I pick up a new course, new certification, I learn many things new, which is what I always keep telling my students, friend circle, take certifications as a learning journey as well. It is not just about getting a paper or a document in your hand. It's much more than that. So this is what IIB also says. If you see trained and certified BAs on average earn about 19% more. In fact, with our student, we see it to be averaging around 40%. So some of our students have got 40, 50, 60, going up to 100% increase in salary once they complete the training and certification. So there is a great opportunity in front of you as long as you invest into yourself. So this is what we had done actually as a survey for our past students. So about 50% students surveyed reported a better role at work. Okay, so this is something useful for you. About 60% said higher salary, and 90+% said higher confidence at work, which is an amazing thing. Imagine you playing a much better role and people respecting you. And in fact, I asked one student very particular question: what happened when you got certified? He said, Ellen, I am the same person between yesterday and today. No, yesterday I was not certified, today I am certified. But the moment I got certified, my stakeholders started listening to me much more intently. Okay, so my respect in the community went up because now I am a certified professional. Again, there's just some sample data, and there's plenty of sample data I can show you. Like this gentleman got a 50% hike even before he got certified. So it's not that he got certified and then he got the benefit. Before he got certified, he got 50% hike. This gentleman, he's in Australia and he got a role in a big four consulting organization. This is again another interesting person. And this is a story from the lockdown period, COVID period. She was in an aviation company. She lost that job because aviation got tremendously hit because of COVID. But she could come back to a job with a bank. And this is her own writings. It's not my writing. Okay, so please have trust, don't have doubt. There will be always doubt seekers in the world who will say certifications are useless, it's not going to help you, they're not worth it. But probably they're misreading the process, or they're getting misguided by the fact that you can get certified by studying some questions, which is a bad approach to getting certified. The intent should be to learn the subject well, and as a corollary, you get certified. It's not the primary thing. So how do we actually go about getting ourselves certified? So in fact, if you look at the first point, and I always say that is the most important point, to make up your mind to get yourself certified. Unless you make up your mind, it will not work. So our mind is what we say, no, it's our biggest friend and it's our biggest enemy as well, both ways. So if our mind supports us, we go ahead. If our mind doesn't support us, we don't go ahead. That's why make up your mind by when you want to get certified. And don't be very overly aggressive. There is no need that you have to get certified next week. But give yourself 3 to 4 months, at most 6 months time frame. You don't need more than 6 months to go into any of these IIB examinations. In fact, typically for ECBA, it's 2 months, CCBA, it's about 3 months, and probably all non-core about 3 months, and then CBAP, maybe 4 months. And of course, I can understand some of us may have a family, job, and all that, but 6 months is good enough time frame. And you're looking at investing about 20 hours a month. So if you can invest 20 hours a month, in 6 months time frame, you can get certified in any of the IIB certifications that you wish to get certified. And of course, choose the right certification. I'll talk a little bit about it. Most of you probably would know. Take help of training providers and the groups and probably the chapters. A lot of them do very good activities in terms of providing you resources and study groups as well. And of course, always remember exams are a little different from real life. Now, preparing for an exam is always a bit different from how you work at your workplace. Although personally, I would believe they should be extremely well aligned. Like, for example, I always say, why should exams be closed book? Because real life isn't closed book. No, real life is open book. So our exams ideally should be open book. But again, these are my thoughts and you don't have to take it. But there will be some tips that I will share with you, which can help you to prepare well. And of course, all these exams will require a little application process. We got a bad name for CBAP application process because of V2. In V2, the exam application was a very complicated task. And that's what I think spread the bad news around, saying it's very hard to apply to IIBA. Now they have simplified the process. It's much easier. And many of you may like to take the test from home. And in fact, if you're taking ECBA or some of the shorter form exams, you have to take it from home. there isn't an option to go to a test center. But for CCBA and CBAP, you can go to a test center. And if a test center is available to you near to your home, I would always recommend go to a test center, because test centers are far more controlled environment compared to your home, which may not be that well organized or well controlled. And of course, you have to take the test to pass the test. So the first point first, this is what I said. And always remember, not getting yourself certified may be making you poorer by $20,000 per year. This is the amount of difference you can make. And some people make a lot more difference. Of course, from like 70K, they go up to 120, 130K per year. But on average, people lose about 20K per year. This is what has been our study. And secondly, if you are not certifying, which means you may not be studying anything formally as well. And in today's world, it also makes you vulnerable, which is what I have seen with some of my friends who consider what they studied in the university or college is good enough to take them forward. They stopped their learning journey, and in the process, many of them became obsolete. No, so a lot of us get into a comfort zone. We are in a good company. The company is paying well. But when the bad times come, then you are the first person to ask to leave because you haven't upskilled yourself for a fairly long time. And in fact, I hear from many people who say people in their 40s and late 40s are most vulnerable to job cuts if you study, because these are the people who have stopped learning maybe from 30, 35 years onwards. Then we look at what certification should you choose. There are two aspects to consider. One is, of course, how much experience you have as a business analyst. And second is, which area would you like to improve? Like, say, for example, if you're keen on improving your data analytics skills, then CBDA is a great certification. Or if you happen to be working in an agile environment, AAC happens to be a good certification. So look at two aspects. So I believe all of you know a little bit about IIBA certifications. I've just put up a simple slide saying, if you are a business analyst with less than 2.5 years of experience, typically we are expecting you to go for ECBA. And then between 2.5 to 5, we are expecting you to go for CBA. Beyond 5 years, you're looking at CBAP. And of course, the other specialty certifications are in the area of agile analysis, in data analytics, in cybersecurity, in product ownership as well. Because a lot of BAs are also looking at moving into a product owner role, because many organizations are actually kind of paying an emphasis on product owner role. Two reasons. One, they don't have to have a project manager and a business analyst, which saves them money. Secondly, it's also single point accountability. You don't have to look at a BA and look at a PM to kind of resolve conflicts. It's the same person. So product ownership could be an amazing space to look at, especially for senior business analysts. One more area I wish IIBA probably would have in its portfolio would be to have something on business architect role or an enterprise analyst role. Maybe sometime in future, IIBA will do something about it, because that's something we are missing at this point in time. Again, getting trained always helps, because other than CCB and CBAP, which expects you to be formally trained, other certifications don't require you to be formally trained. You can do self-study as well. But a good training can speed up your process by 6 months to 12 months. Because I've seen sometimes people studying for 5 years for CBAP, which kind of makes me wonder, why does it take so long? And if you have taken 5 years to complete the certification, it means for 5 years you did not get the benefit, or at least for 4 years you did not get the benefit of what you should have got. Okay, so that's why I always say, take a look at the training provider that you are working with, what kind of support you are getting, and then that kind of helps you in choosing a right training partner. So you could look at things like past success rate, the quality of faculty they employ, the quality of content that you get. Okay. We at Adaptive provide something called a success guarantee. This has been a bit contentious with IIBA as well. They think we are doing some hanky-panky. Nothing hanky-panky about it. It's a financial guarantee, not that it's absolute guarantee. It's not absolute guarantee. But in general, we have been able to get our students through the process 96, 97% of the time, which allows us to take the financial hit on the remaining 2, 3%. But it's a great peace of mind for you because there's somebody who is standing behind you and is committed to your success. Then again, every examination you should prepare smart. And what does it mean? One, be clear about what is in the scope of the exam. Even today, till July 20th, if you take a look at IIBA ECBA exam, there are 2 knowledge areas which are not included. Okay, but in the new scheme, all 6 knowledge areas will be included, which is why the exam scheme is becoming a little broader. And then also be careful about the type of questions that you will see. There are different types of questions that you get in the exam: short questions, medium length questions, and long length questions. Especially for CBAP, you will see questions which could go up to 1 and 1.5 pages. So be kind of prepared to read such long questions when you are going for CBAP. And then you should have good practice questions. As I said before, exams are different animals. They're not exactly like your work environment. Okay. So taking the exam requires some kind of a preparation mindset, what to look for, how to identify options which may be wrong. Okay. And there are certain patterns that we leverage to distract you in the exam. So it's called a distraction approach. So you should be able to find these distractions present in the question and in the options. So what we did is we created good number of mind maps for our students. So I have portrayed one mind map in front of you, which is the task mind map from Babok. It might look simple at this time, but I remember when we were developing this mind map, we almost deliberated about 40 hours about the structure of the mind map, how it should look, what should go into it, what need not go into it. It's not complete, it's not perfect. No, because if we want to represent the entire Babok tasks and everything in one mind map, it is going to be pretty complex. And sometimes I do see people creating such mind maps, which is not very helpful. No, you have to find something which may be imperfect, but very helpful. That's what we have tried to do here. And I will share this bigger form mind map as well with you so that you can take a look at it. It kind of tells you which tasks can be done in parallel, which tasks need to be done in serial, what are the key inputs, what are the key outputs. All those things we have put up in the mind map itself. For all exams, you need to understand the purpose of each task. Like, why is this task being done? And I think in the new scheme, the emphasis on understanding is a lot more for ECBA as well. Similarly, what we did is we kind of organized the techniques as well. And this is something I think I take quite a great pride in, because what we found is that a lot of techniques have a lot of things in common. Whereas when you study Babok, it appears to be all distinct. Maybe it happened because different people wrote different techniques, most likely. And obviously, the author wrote everything that needs to be independently studied. Whereas what we figured out is that you can actually group techniques and you can take the extract up saying, okay, these are common things in all these techniques, and this is the difference. So you're studying a lot less content. In fact, our study guide is just about 10% in word volume count. So if you take Babok, it has about 200,000 plus words, whereas our study guide is 20,000 words. So it's a much more concise version of Babok. Does it miss something from Babok? Of course, it does miss. But at 10% volume, you get 95% content, which is much better than studying 100% volume and getting 100% content. So by the time you read Babok once, you probably can read our study guide 5 times. No, so that way it makes it easier for you to assimilate the subject. And again, we also organize the techniques around the knowledge areas just to give you a feel that certain techniques do contribute a little bit more to a particular knowledge area. But it does not mean the techniques are exclusive to the knowledge area. That's not the intent. The relationship is many to many. That means a technique can be used in many knowledge areas, in many tasks, and a task will leverage many techniques. And obviously, what we expect also you to do is to understand strengths of each technique. Like what way workshops are better than, say, brainstorming, or what way a data model is different from a process model. So those kind of understanding you should have. And especially for CBAP, the expectation is you folks are very good with UML, which is like your activity diagram, data model, state diagram, use case diagram. Also with things like financial analysis, which is again one more technique which I find many BAs struggling with. Okay, because many of us don't do financials that much. So that's why we always struggle with that particular aspect. And I also did one interesting exercise with a client. I was teaching a course with Bank of Tanzania. And those guys said, Ellen, can you give us a ready reckoner for techniques? Like, if this is my situation, what is the best technique to use? So I identified about 60 situations and a corresponding technique. So that has been very helpful. So as part of your work, also, you can refer to that simple guide because it says if you're trying to do this, this could be your best technique to use. Then again and again, I will come back to questions because this is the hardest part of your preparation. Going through the training, going through BABA is one part. That's probably about 30% of your preparation time. But about 60% of your time should go towards practicing good number of questions. That way you get mentally sharp to write the test. And many of us may not have written a test for a very long time. No, it's not that as part of our work, we keep writing tests. Unless you are a person like me who loves to write tests. Okay, most people won't. So this is what I again said, questions may have many tricks to distract you. So start observing these tricks. And then for our students, we have two kinds of questions that we provide. For every knowledge area, we provide a good number of questions, about 100 questions. And at the end as well, we have simulations, which are like real life simulations, which you can practice multiple times. For all core certifications, we give 6 simulations. And for non-core, we give 4 simulations at the end to practice. And we also give a review mode. That means you can analyze your answers, see where did you go wrong, and then kind of correct it next time. A lot of people ask me also, Ellen, does IIBA give you a specific score? What is a passing score for an exam? We actually don't know. IIBA does not disclose any passing score for you. Then, of course, you need to apply for the exam. And this is what I was telling you. The V2 version had a very complicated application. And I remember when I wrote my V2, and then I helped many students to go through V2 certification as well. That time we used to have an application process in which there were 82 tasks mentioned per project. So if you have 10 projects in your experience list, you are ratifying 820 line items, and getting a couple of them incorrect will get your get your application rejected. So one of the common rejections that used to happen, I remember, is have you done any testing activity in your project? Okay, if you say yes, your application gets rejected. And I was very surprised. Most BAs do some testing in projects. I've done it myself, and I know many of my friends who were full-time BAs, designated as BAs, and we used to do some testing. But for some reason, IIBA considered anybody doing testing is not a business analyst. Instead of saying that testers also do some business analysis work and business analysts also do some testing work. But now the application process is much simpler. It isn't that complicated. And typically you can get it through within an hour or hour and a half. So don't worry about the application process, just that you have to do it at a right time so that you get a slot of your choice. You have to apply at least 2-3 weeks advance so that you can get the right slot. Earlier, most of the people used to take it in physical mode, and physical mode had constraints. in terms of how many people can take the test in a particular day. But now you have virtual options as well. So as I said, other than CCBA and CBAP, rest all exams are virtual. That means you have to take it from home, like we are talking now, and the proctor can see you and you take the test at your home. So this is what, and sometimes your application could get picked up for audit, but it does delay the process by a week or two, but it doesn't do anything much. And as long as you're being truthful about what you have put up in your application, there shouldn't be any fear of any audit process. And of course, remember, for CCBA and CBAP, you do need to provide some work experience details, which is not required for other certifications. So this is something I wanted to highlight because many students today are taking the exam from home, and we are bound to take some exams from home. And that's why I always say, be prepared if you're taking the exam from home. Like have two computers, ideally Windows based, because sometimes I hear Mac computers giving some trouble. Although Macintosh computers are very good, but somehow they have some integration issues with other systems. So one computer for taking the test and one as a backup. And please make sure that you have admin access to the computer. Okay, because IIBA exam system will install a secure browser on your system. And if you're using Office computer, you may not be able to install that software. That's why it is important for you to have admin access. And generally, we recommend you to take the test from your personal computer, not Office computer. Of course, have two good internet connections, because one internet connection can always fail. Like in fact, at home, I have 3 different providers from whom I have taken the internet connection, just in case, because my life depends on these internet connections. I don't want one provider or 2 providers to break it. And generally, I expect you to buy an external camera. In fact, today, one of our past students said, Ellen, my laptop has a camera. Should I buy again another camera? I said, okay, please do. It may cost you $20, $25, but it will save you the hassle of the proctor not being able to read your identity card very well. Sometimes I remember like my proctor could not read my identity card very well. So I actually had to put it behind a glass of water so that it magnifies my name. We don't want any kind of pitch or any trouble while taking the test. No, that kind of derails you, demotivates you also. Because when you are going for the exam, you are already in a little bit heightened tension state. No? Like one person also said, I am planning to take the test at 4 o'clock in the morning so that there is no disturbance. But again, remember, at that time, the support from IIBA could be low. Now, IIBA doesn't support 24/7. So that's why you be careful. Preferably take the exam between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. That's a good time to take. Don't take it beyond those time frames. That's the time, and avoid Saturday, Sunday as well. Okay, because weekends, non-office working hours, the support level from IIBA can be low. So if you run into any trouble, you are left to fend yourself. But in case you run into any trouble with the exam system, immediately report it to IIBA. They may be able to give you a free retake without any cost to you. But it's only for things that did not work technically, not from your not preparedness for the exam. For that, there is no retake. Of course, have a good power backup so that you don't run out of power, and have a clean desk and a noise-free room. That means nobody should walk into the room when you are taking the test. You should not be wearing any gadgets, no headphone, no earplugs, and usually wear half-sleeve shirts. Full sleeve shirts, sometimes the proctor doesn't like. Maybe they think you are hiding something inside your shirt pocket or somewhere. There are a lot of good rules to follow while taking the online exam. Of course, we come to the final step, which is to take the test. And always remember, most international exams, including IIB exams, are based on the knowledge of the published guide. So for us, it's the Babok guide for the core, And there are, of course, non-core guides as well. So usually the exam will stick to the guidebook. And this is something strange to me, but that's how it works. If something is mentioned in the guidebook, it is true, which is quite obvious. Although some of the things written in Babok, I don't agree personally, but at least 95% I agree. I have no problem. But the other way around is actually tricky, which means if something is not mentioned in the guidebook, it is considered as false, which is a bit strange. There are many things which may not be written in the guidebook, but when you are answering the exam, answer as per the guidebook. What does the guidebook say about this particular situation? Answer accordingly. Then most of our students have come back and said that the initial questions are typically harder. Okay, so that's why you have to skip few questions in the beginning and you can come back to these questions later. Then do not get stuck with any particular question. Some people have a tendency, I'm not getting this question. And they kind of keep thinking about that particular question for a very long time, which is not very helpful. These exams are time-based. You don't have infinite time in hand. So if you do not know any question, mark it as B or C, whatever letter you like. Don't leave any question unanswered. Attempt all questions. There is no negative marking. And come back and review it later. And then review the diagrams in Babok because you may get questions on diagrams, especially for CCBA and CBAP, not so much for ECBA. Again, as I said, CBAP questions can be quite long, and you need to be very cognizant of the time that you're spending on every question. So just to give you an idea about how the new exam scheme for ECBA is changing. So current scheme, which is valid till July 20th, it has only one reference guide, which is the Babok guide. Whereas the new standard has got Babok plus BA standard. So you have to study more. Two, in the current scheme, you have only 4 knowledge areas, but in the new scheme, all 6 knowledge areas come into picture. That means, again, from Babok also you have to read more. So in general, what I would see is now IIBA has added about 120 pages of extra content to ECBA. Then the number of questions remains same. That hasn't changed. But you are given a little more time to go for the questions because the questions have become a little more complex as well. So it's almost becoming close to CCBA now. The ECBA exam that we're going to have, it's becoming very close to CCBA. And I'm anticipating maybe they will change CCBA towards CBAP, and CBAP maybe they will take up a little higher as well. So purposefully, I think for some reason, IIBA is making CBAP harder and harder. I have taken the CCBA V2 exam myself, and I saw the exam pattern was way simpler. It was like today's CCBA. So I actually wanted to take CBAP once more with IIBA just to kind of stay afresh, but IIBA said, no. Once you're a CBAP, you cannot write CBAP once more. I said, okay, that's your rule. But I think once in a while, they should allow us to take the test again, just to make sure that we are still staying sharp. And then, of course, the exam fees haven't changed. So the fees remain same. So few things have changed and few things haven't changed. But for sure, it's going to be a bit more complex compared to what we have today. So quick look at what we do as an organization. We are a training provider and possibly the largest training provider today for IIBA certifications. We get about 250 to 300 students get certified every year. That's about 25 certified professionals every month. And we kind of take a great pride in what kind of faculty members we deploy. And I don't think, and I'm not boasting off, usually we are very, very selective about having a faculty member. All our faculty members are IIBA certified, must have 20 plus years of business analysis experience. And most of us have been very deeply involved with IIBA work. Like I have been associated with IIBA for about 8-9 years now, have been part of CCBA writing team, have been part of the new BA standard writing team. My colleague Victoria has been part of V2 writing, V3 writing, exam committees. So we are very deeply invested into IIBA programs. And of course, we spend a lot of time in making sure that our content is up to date. So we are already working on the new ECBA program, and we are going to launch it in the month of May. So from May, if you are looking at the new ECBA exam scheme, we are a good partner to take a look, because not very sure if many people would actually revise the content. And IIB actually came very late. I think they informed us towards the end of March about the new exam scheme. But within a month, we are getting ready for the new exam scheme. So probably the only institute in the world which gives you triple guarantee. One, we have something called a success guarantee, as part of which you get 2 free retakes. So if something goes wrong with the exam, after following our approach, we will pay the retake fee from our pocket. You don't have to pay. All our sessions are guaranteed to run. If they don't run, we pay a penalty to you. And over last 5 years, we haven't canceled any of our programs. So stay assured that if a program is advertised on the calendar and you have registered, it will run. So as I was saying, this is the kind of people that you will meet in the program. Laura Patton she was working with us. She has taken a sabbatical. So we got one more lady joining in her place called Bindu Chanabirappa. She is the director for IIBA Europe. I've been talking about Victoria. Laura has been involved with IIBA for a very long time. She was also the chapter leader for, I think, Oklahoma. And Tom has been teaching the course with us, mostly for the non-core products like CBDA, CPOA, AAC, those kind of products. So few sample reviews from our students, and you can read plenty of them on internet as well if you go. So there are a couple of good resources that I have mentioned here, and I would like you to take a look. Maybe I'll copy this link. I spoke about very few tips. I don't have time to talk about all the tips, but we have compiled a lot of tips from various students that came and took the test with us, took the training. So this is the link for that tips document. And it has 100 tips for the IIB exam takers. That will be a very valuable resource for you. Then another one is this 200 mock questions. So this has again questions from all the standards. And of course, this will need a revision very soon for ECBA. But till July 20th, still the book is valid. Only post July 20th, we have to add new question set for ECBA. And you can also go to this particular link, which is thinkific.adaptiveus.com. So we have some sample study guide, lots of things available here, just if you, in case you want to take a look at the quality of our resources. That's a good place to take a look. Again, there are a couple of offers that I said is available to you. One, we have introduced a Gen AI course. We have a Gen AI course running, I think, in the month of May or something like that. So if any one of you join our live courses, you get that course free as well. Secondly, if you join any of our ultimate product category, there you get free exam and application fee as well. So put together, that's about $600 a benefit. Yeah, if you take both the benefits, you get about $600 worth of benefits. That's about it. This is what I wanted to cover for you. And I'm open to take any questions from you.
Ellen, this is Bob.
Yes.
Somehow I'm on your email list and I love it. I get all these
Thank you.
announcements about, upcoming free webinars. I've attended many of them and they're great. I mean, they're very aligned with the BABAC. So, how would somebody on this call also get on that list? And maybe you could also talk about LinkedIn, because I know there's something in LinkedIn too that you can get connected with.
Yeah, of course. If any one of you would like to connect me on LinkedIn, let me put up my LinkedIn profile. for you. And if you wish to be part of our mailing list, you can again write to CS. They would help you with that. So let me just go to LinkedIn. Let me pick up my profile link and I will put up here. Yeah, this is my LinkedIn profile link.
Great, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. Go ahead. Anybody else with any other question?
I was wondering, could I ask what were you initially what was your initial job before you moved into becoming a trainer and taking many
Okay.
certification tests?
Uh,
Just wondering, because I'm wondering like
yeah,
how the
I was
transition
a
happened.
business analyst. No, I was a business analyst for about 6 years. Then I wanted to develop a product. Okay. So I burnt about $1 million in trying to build a product. So I ran the product organization for about 10 years. Okay. And of course, to support the product development, I became a trainer as well. So essentially, I was earning money through training and pumping that money into product development. Um, so I became a trainer maybe around 2005, around that time frame, essentially to support our product business. But as I said, we burnt a lot of money in the product. We were not that efficient in building it, or in a sense, we could not manage the scope of the product, which is what resulted in a large product, very expensive to maintain. And we were trying to compete with products like HPALM, Jira. So you need really big money to support that kind of a product. So then in about 2016, we decided to become a completely training focused organization because that was what was making money for us.
Makes
So that's
sense.
when I became a full-time trainer. So we kind of let go of the product work. We still do some product development work. It's not that we don't do any product development work, but we are no longer a customer dictated product company, which is what had happened before, because our customers started driving us nuts. Like they will drive north, they will drive south, east, west, in every direction. And that's how the product bloated. That's a real thing that happened. Now I'm very clear. So it's a product which we own. So we decide what we will give, not a customer decides what they want.
Yeah.
Although it might look like little counterintuitive, somebody will say you should give what the customer wants. Now my philosophy is very simple. This is what I have. If you want to buy, buy. Don't want to buy, don't buy. But you can't dictate terms to me, saying I want this feature, I want that feature. That's up to you. You don't want, don't take. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that way, training business is very systematic. No, the products are defined, they're available, and people buy without questioning, which is the best thing that you should happen.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks. I
Yeah.
was wondering about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other question? Anybody else?
I think Trey.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't catch when is the new exam going into effect?
It's starting from July 21st. The new ECBA exam will come into effect from July 21st.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. All good? Steve, so you can take over from here.
Okay. Let me stop recording.